When Dana called me to participate in this event, I had released a string method about 4 years ago. It's called the O'Connor method. And it takes the young student through the education of music, through American music, through creativity, beautiful pieces of music, and rhythm and counterpoint and harmony, and the history of American music, all the different styles and the eras of music making in this part of the world. Involves Hispanic music and Canadian music, music all the way from Hoedown to spirituals to rock and roll and boogie woogie. And this kind of American classical approach, using our music from this part of the hemisphere of the world, is something very new. And I wanted to bring that program here, do some teacher training, introduce it to the teachers and to the children in San Diego, and inspire children to pick up the violin and string instruments with a new kind of approach for learning the violin in the 21st century. Well, music, just like everything else, needs to go forward. We can't always rely on the greatness of the past. You know, collectively, our humanity looks forward, and so our music must. And in order to do that, we need more and more creative people involved in string playing. And my hope is that my method will produce not only fine string players, but fine string playing composers and arrangers and improvisers. Children, eventually adults, that could plug themselves into you know, hip-hop music and rock and roll and different forms of music with their string instruments. So we can have the violin express itself, you know, all over the map musically, not just in the orchestra, although I feel that's very important. So I have an orchestra series that goes along with my solo books and builds an artistic bridge between those things. So orchestra can become a jam session, for instance, with the right materials. And I feel that those are the American music materials that I've included in my method. I hope that the track out of my method for learning strings, and also classics for kids, is that eventually children will learn and appreciate Bach again and Beethoven. We can't forget these historical figures. We just need something else to go along with it that moves forward, so we can embrace and enjoy the historical figures of the past. You know, rock and roll does that nicely. You know, we, as we write new songs for rock and roll, we remember the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. We want to do that with classical music as well. And I think that strings should be involved. String instruments have an incredible history in classical music, but they also have an incredible history in American music. And to bring those two things together to provide a new kind of forum for education, for performance, for creativity is important.